Today is a Friday, and this is what happens on a Friday. We know that you have to be all official and you have to look like, oh, I'm in office and I'm doing a job. But hey, on Fridays, we take the coat off and we dance the dust off. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first show. Ignore my breathing, of course. My legit dance moves made it through the morning. You know, sometimes you leave and you doubt that you can dance as good as this, especially if you're discussing political issues. But hey, I think I've proved a lot of people wrong today, and my dance moves were legit. You can copy some of them. I know we have some people. Mr. Eskembuga seated there, and he's thinking, I didn't know my employer can dance that much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've just showed you my moves. Now, this is the first show. Here's the thing. From Monday to Thursday, we're discussing political issues, very serious political issues, issues that come with things such as the petition that Robert Chagulanyi launched, issues that come with 15 bodies found left there to be buried by unknown people, issues like 31 people still missing in the drone kidnap that police and Jejodong say they still don't know where it is. Actually, in particular, not police, but IGP Okoth Otola, who said they're not sure about the whereabouts of these people. Now, this is what we discuss Monday to Thursday. But on Friday, we want to calm down a bit, exercise a bit, because hey, dancing is, you know, a way of exercising. So from 7 to 9, we'll be discussing a number of different issues, and the fact that, of course, there are serious issues that you can't leave out, even when today is supposed to be a day where we celebrate and dance. There are issues that you can't leave out in the political scene, and you have to come and discuss them like it's not Friday and you're not looking forward to go home and rest and dance off for the weekend. Now, as we're discussing the very many issues that are coming in, you know that in the first show from 7, we start with what we call the newspaper review. We tell you what is happening in the newspapers in the morning so that by the time you get it, you have an idea of what is happening in the news. Now from there, we'll be going to the traffic updates. Of course, if we don't have the traffic updates, then we have what we call the Vox Pop session, whereby we come to you where you are. And you take us through what the thought or your line of thought is about the issue of discussion in the studios. And we'll be doing that today as well. And then we also have Today in History with Adams Mayambala, who takes us back in time. For us, the millennium babies, the 21st century babies. Of course, I don't count myself in that group. I am a very proud 28-year-old Muslim. And a lot of people say, you seem to be quite proud about talking about your age. Will you do the same when you're 40? Yes, sir. I will do the same when I'm 40 years old. Now, aside from the fact that a group of people will be going out there and dancing and celebrating, of course, before I finish the lineup, we have the Muslims who will be humbling themselves today, and they will be going for prayers. Now, as we were speaking, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng yesterday was at the Uganda Media Center, and she was talking to people and saying that it's not time for us to relax because the COVID-19 pandemic has come to a place whereby it has relaxed a little bit, but we shouldn't. Now, here's what Jane Ruth Acheng said as she was telling us what exactly it means for the COVID-19 to go down. Through March, November to January, we had an issue of COVID-19 skyrocketing. And then the curve went from up to down. And she said, that is how pandemics work. So the first phase goes up and then down. And then the second phase will hit us hard. Very hard, like what Kenya is going through right now. And they're going through the second phase of the COVID-19 pandemic. And Jane Ruth Acheng has scared us, but told us the truth and said that we're going to have the same thing that will be happening in Uganda. So you need to be careful. Now, this is how she described how the pandemic is going to be. Now, the pandemic, what is going to happen is that the second phase is going to start with isolated cases in different districts. Now, from the isolation cases in different districts, we are going to have what we term as a conclusive, like a general illness that will be taking over the whole country, and we'll have cases skyrocketing as well. So she calls upon us not to relax. And here's where I was coming from. Muslims are going to pray. Today is Friday, and according to the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, white is the color to put on Fridays. So I decided I will go prepare myself for work and today do white in the cultural way of Islam and how things are done. And here I am in white in the studios speaking to you, of course, in the hills of Buziga. So as you go to pray, remember the social distancing has to be kept, and as our children are getting ready to go to school on 1st of March 2021. We need to make sure that we protect them as well. Forget about the masks that cover only the nose and the mouth. What happens if they want to scratch their nose? What happens if they're scratching their eyes? That's a question that you ought to ask yourself. So what do you do then? Buy them the mask that covers your whole face. Hopefully, my producer, Husna Afeti, will be able to get me the picture of the mask that I'm talking about to try and demonstrate to you what exactly you ought to do to be able to put on that mask or to get that mask and how it looks like. Now that mask is more comfortable for your children. It's more comfortable for you, especially when you're going around and doing your daily chores. When we had the first set of the first show, I put it on before for you who have been following us, and we're making 1 year very soon. Very soon the first show is making 1 year, and hopefully we'll be cutting our cake right here on this table. But here's what I'm saying. You need to put on your mask, regardless of where you are, whether you're in office or you're moving in the streets. That mask looks very fashionable. Even if you're putting on a suit, you can put on that mask and still look good. So buy those for your kids as they go back to school. And as Muslims, even as Christians, when we go to pray, we need to make sure there's social distancing. Have your sanitizer with you all the time and make sure that you take care of yourself before you say government etuyambe. I think we should be better than government etuyambe. So as we're moving forward with the first show, as Muslims are getting ready to go to pray, as you're seated on your bed, as you're seated on your sofa, as you're taking your cup of coffee, your cup of cappuccino, see, my mouth is watering. I love coffee. I'm a coffee person. So as you're waking up to take your cup of coffee, your cappuccino, wake up with the moods of watching the first show and know that apart from being entertained, you will be informed. Now, as I said, from newspaper review, of course, we have the traffic updates, all the vox pops from the field. And then after that, we will be looking at lifestyle with Kemi Angie, who will be taking us through the personality of the day, the book of the day, and the interior decor tip of the day. And of course, she will be widening the prospect to taking us to the health tip of the day, which is very important, especially for us who are going into the third ladder of our ages, and that is 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. You need to be able to exercise every morning. Now, when I was coming home, of course, to come to work, I met this amazing woman. She was a Muslim, and she was covering her hair, and she was putting on this suit, and she was jogging. She's a very old woman. She could have been my mother, and she was jogging. Now, what are you waiting for to make sure that you're healthy and jog? COVID-19 is real. You need to get out there and exercise. Make sure that you exercise as we move forward with the fashion. After lifestyle, we have sports that will be coming your way to update you, the sports lovers, on what is happening in the sports field, who is doing what and who is doing what, where, and then me and Simon Chris come back to shut down the show. Now, for you people who didn't know what happens on the first show, we got you, and that's how the first show runs. Now, I'll give you just one update, and then we'll allow Simon Chris Makanga to join us. Now, here's the thing. I decided to start off the show, and I told him, Simon, sit aside and let the woman take this show. And here's why I did that. Now, I would like to celebrate and also cry for the loss of a very important personality in the history of Uganda, a woman, an iron lady, one that decided not to be air hostess, but decide to fly that plane. Caroline Businje yesterday died at 2:15 p.m. in the airplane crash, in the UPDF airplane crash that happened in Entebbe. May her soul rest in eternal peace. And we, the people out here, pray for her, and we hope that we'll have a number of women who will follow in her footsteps and not be just UPDF soldiers who represent Uganda in a number of places, but also be able to have the guts to do the jobs that back then in the African traditional society we were told that women could not do. So she died while trying to fly the plane. There were two people in that plane that was flying, and on their way, the plane crashed, mechanical issues, just like the one that crashed on their way to Somalia, Amazon. 4 people were hurt and they were receiving treatment, but thankfully nobody died. These are very sad pictures that you see on your screens, very sad indeed. 2 people lying in the plane injured, and unfortunately Karun Businje was one of those people who died. I'll maintain a few seconds of silence for her and a prayer from her and from you and me to her. Well, may her soul rest in eternal peace. Now, the other 2 women that I will be celebrating are Vernashia Kayua and Tina Drazu. And you know, when I say Drazu, I say it with passion. Now, Tina Drazu, they will fly the Airbus A330, and we know that the Airbus is one of the 3 Airbuses that were bought in Uganda, something to celebrate about, something that farmers will be celebrating about, because fruits, roses, perishable goods will be able to be exported out of the country without fear of them going back. Congratulations to Uganda, and congratulations to all of us who will be celebrating with Uganda. Now, Venetia Kayua and Tina Drazu are the 2 ladies who will be piloting the plane. I repeat, not air hostessing in the plane, but piloting the plane. I stand here and celebrate their victory and congratulating them on that note. Now, we know that in total, we have 50 plane pilots who are going to man this particular Airbus, and out of them, 42 are Ugandans, and that's a good number. Out of 50, when you have 42, that's a very, very good number. Now, as we look at that, we know that from the whole world, when you look at the total of women pilots in the whole world, we only make 5%. And I say we because, of course, growing up, that was my dream. I thought I'd be a pilot, and if not a pilot, then air hostess. But hey, dreams change, and I'm standing here on the First Show speaking to you and telling you, wake up and be with us on the First Show. Today, more than ever, I will need you to be with us on the show, and I'll tell you why very shortly. Now, like I said, in the world, we only have 5% of women pilots. But when you look at the number, 50 pilots, 42 Ugandans, and 10 of them women. Who knew that we could stand out proud and represent the women in this world? Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we call the pride of Uganda women, who our forefathers thought wouldn't be able to do jobs such as this, are proving us wrong, or proving themselves right, and showing that they can do it. Well, congratulations to those 2 ladies, and I am hoping that one of these days we'll be hosting them on the First Show. Of course, me, Simon Chris Makanga, will be hosting them on the First Show and taking them through the process, and they'll be telling us their journey to how they decided, of all jobs in the world, they will be doing what we call plane piloting. I'm very proud of them on that note. Now, moving forward, I'll take you shortly into the story of what happened yesterday in the pre-hearing of Chagulanyi's petition against Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, saying that he did not win. Now, we remember that Yoweri Kaguta Museveni got 58.3 or 31 votes. And he got that number of votes, while Chagulanyi got a 34.8. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni got 58.6. I beg your pardon. I'll repeat it. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni got 58.6 votes, while Robert Chagulanyi got 34.8 votes. And Robert Chagulanyi is contesting against those results and saying that Electoral Commission did whatever it took to make it easy for the incumbent Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to win those posts. And he says that he has evidence of ballot stuffing, and there were things that were not done right. So he says that he will contest against those results in court, and he has the ANC and FDC backing him out. However, they say they will not be going to court. Now, here's what happened, and here's what was decided in the pre-hearing. Now, the judges decided that the 9 of them, of course, that we showed you yesterday in Select News at 9 in Select Yenjaula, we had a profile of these 9 judges. If you missed, go to our Facebook profiles and you'll be seeing the profiles of the 9 judges. Who are they? Did they participate in the 2016 petition against Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, or did they not? Now, all those details we gave you yesterday, and we know that for you who watched it, you have those details. Now, they said that on the 14th of February 2021, when some of us will be celebrating Valentine's, the lawyers of Kyagulanyi will have to file their affidavits and sworn-in statements. Well, for those who don't know what an affidavit is a sworn-in statement. So they will be taking their sworn-in statements, that's the affidavits, on the 15th of February to the opposing lawyers of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the opposing lawyers will acknowledge the receipt. Now, on the 20th of February 2021, they will write a report to respond to what the petitioners or the affidavit of the Kyagulanyi lawyers said. And then on the 23rd of February, the Kyagulanyi's lawyers will have a rejoinder or a reply, a witty reply to what Yoweri Kaguta's lawyers say. And on the 24th of February 2021, there will be another pre-hearing where they will have a joint scheduling memo and all the evidences will be produced and they will discuss the affidavit. And then on the 18th of March, which will be the last part, they will deliver the judgment on this case. Now, I know a lot of us will be looking forward for the 18th of March, and we are here to give you the news. And then we also know that what they discussed was that there will be 100-seater tents, 2 of them. Now, the other 100-seater tent will have the lawyers and the judges, and the other 100-seater tent will have the public. Now, here's the thing. You, the public, are allowed to attend, but you will be parking your cars at Kololo airstrip, and they promised us that your cars will be safe because we'll be having the police and the army who will be there to take care of your cars. So leave it there knowing that they're safe, and then join people while you're seeing the petition and the judgment that will be given on that petition on the 18th of March 2021. Well, I hope you're still with us, definitely. And like I told you earlier, Simon Chris Makanga will be joining us on the show for the newspaper review. I had to push him away because I needed to talk about these particular topics, and that is the petition and also the 2 women that I celebrated this morning. And I hope that you have learned a lot from these 2 topics. Now, I want to jump straight to the Daily Monitor, but before I do that, good morning, Simon Chris Makanga.
Good morning, Lady Valerie.
How are you doing?
Thank you so much for the good job.
I am glad you have joined me. It's always a pleasure to have you. It comes down on the pressure that I have, or speaking on my own and waiting for the callers, of course, to engage with me so I can have someone to talk to.
If you've ever worked on a radio station,
yes,
probably this could be a walkover, because in a radio station it's just you and the listeners.
And then you're like, okay, so blah, 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 blah. I hear you. I hear you.
So, courtesy of your previous radio background,
yes,
you can do this.
Well, I'm sure when you were not on set, you were listening to me, and I was, of course, taking our viewers through the petition that will be happening on the 14th, 20th, 23rd, 24th, and finally 18th of March 2020. What do you expect the judges to put on the table this time?
My submission still remains valid from what I said yesterday. However, these are matters that are still in court, and my opinion wouldn't carry any water.
I like
that. For now, let's trust in our independent judiciary.
And we see what happens.
Come March 24th,
18th of March,
yeah,
yes.
18th of March, we shall have the final ruling. And the question is, maybe would be that in case the judges make a ruling and we are supposed to go for a rerun, are we ready for it?
Ugandans seem to have been disappointed by these elections. But here's one thing I know about my country, Uganda, is that we are a nation that is not beat down easily. And we're a nation that accepts what comes from our independent judiciary system. And when those results come, I'm sure they'll go and vote. But when they say Yoweri Kaguta Museveni won, I'm sure Ugandans will be calm and let this pass.
Like in a nutshell, we are kind of people that move on so fast. We forget so fast.
And that's a good thing.
That is attributed to the fact that events that happen in this country are like a series.
Events happen one after the other.
Absolutely.
Some people would say it's not good for a nation that forgets fast. But hey, when we read the Quran and when we read the Bible, a nation that forgets and forgives fast is a nation that develops faster. So I think it's nicer to know that we do that. If you
count the number of events that are happening, and some people, the NUP supporters are saying that whatever is happening in the August House, the 7 years term, and then they want the 291 supplementary budget. To them, they say that it's just a deviation from the major event, which is the election.
Well, deviation or not, it's going to happen, and it will keep happening. However, let's